Hi, welcome to the Destin Business Forum, brought to you by the Destin Area Chamber of Commerce. I'm your host, Amy Perry, and our guest today is Mark Dutram with Fresh Start for Families and Children, or Children and Families.
Children and Families.
You are a board member and the treasurer, is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Which makes sense because you are also a financial planner with First City Bank?
First City Bank, yeah.
Okay. So the treasurer job comes sort of natural to you,
It
right?
did, it did. You know, I was looking for ways to kind of get involved in organizations, and usually they say, hey, have somebody count the numbers and be a treasurer. So
we like to have those bankers be the treasurer.
Gotcha.
So for those people who don't know, explain what Fresh Start for Children and Families, am I saying that right? Children and Families is,
Right.
what you do, and the people that you serve.
Okay. You know, that's as a nonprofit, you don't want to be a well-kept secret. And again,
Sure.
we've been around since 1986, but a lot of people don't even know who Fresh Start is.
Right.
But we started back, bought our first buildings back in 1986, and started to address the homelessness issue.
Okay.
Bob Graham had developed a continuum of care to try to address how many people were homeless in our state of Florida. And matter of fact, the last point in time survey that was done, there was over 3,000 people that were homeless just in Okaloosa County.
Wow.
And the sad part of that, about 65% of them are women and children. And most people, when you think about homelessness, what do you think of? The panhandlers,
Right.
which really is only about 5% of the population.
And I'm just going to jump in here.
That's okay.
Why do you think that is? Is it because they don't have jobs? They don't know what to do? That's
a great question. So when we look at the kind of demographics, 51% of them are unemployed. So we're a tourist industry, we're a construction industry, and when the economy went into recession, a lot of those people were pushed to unemployment. We're getting back some, but again, there's still a lot of people that are in that. People that were at part-time jobs. Imagine trying to have a home on a part-time job.
Right.
So about 17% of them are veterans. A good percent of them are disabled. About 31% of them are disabled. So it can happen to anybody.
Sure.
Again, if you're pushed to unemployment.
Sure.
So we developed a program that is not a handout, but a hand up, and I
like
love
that,
it. Yeah, because it's got accountability to it, and we kind of partner alongside of people with. We used to be called housing with an educational component. I think we're more like an education with a housing component.
Yeah, that sounds right.
And so we developed a program where somebody can come into the system for 9 months and stay in what we call our transitional housing. And they have to have a job, they've got to be alcohol and drug free, they've got to save money, they've got to agree to participate in some of these educational programs that we have, or life skills. And what we try to do is actually develop jobs for them that they could go out in our community and get, like a CNA or
Okay.
IT jobs or court recording, some kind of thing like that where we can.
Okay, so let me ask you this. You said that a lot of the people that you serve are moms or dads, but mainly moms with kids who don't have jobs.
Right.
But then you just said you have to have a job to be in the program. If I come in and I have 2 kids, no job,
Right.
I want to be in your program, but I don't have a job. Do you help me find a job?
We do.
Okay.
We do. Yep. So again, Charlotte Cotton, who runs kind of our educational program, and we've got actually now 5 staff members, but so they would start the process of actually trying to help them find a job.
Okay.
And then once we did that, if there's places that we can partner with, as we kind of discussed earlier, other agencies that give them temporary housing, opportunity place, things like that. Even something that we're working on now is to try to develop something even before transitional that we could put people in as a temporary basis until they find employment.
So somebody comes in, you help them find employment, and you also have a place for them to live.
That's right.
Which I think is maybe is a little bit easier if somebody doesn't have a home.
It's incredible.
It's harder to find work, I would think. I guess a lot of people have cell phones, but still that place for their kids to live. Is it on site, or do you have different homes?
It is
that
actually over in on Bobolink Drive, which is behind the police station and Gary Smith Ford. We have actually 3 buildings. One's our operational office and our educational facility. The other one is called Transitional Building, which we Marty Lackey is what it's named after, but we brought it on board 2013.
Okay.
And then 2009, we actually opened our Step Up. So they would again go in transitional for 9 months and then move to step up after that for a 12-month period of time, where it's actually kind of like Section 8 or HUD housing, very discounted, low-income housing.
But they're still getting used to paying rent.
Exactly.
And they still have to save money?
So what we do is we make them pay 20% of their income towards rent. We make them save 10% of their income as savings.
Okay.
So then hopefully they're learning this process of, again, these life skills of saving money. And then by the time they get through the program, they've got enough money saved to make these deposits for utilities and things like that to actually be self-sustaining.
What a great thing. I could ask you questions for probably an hour, but we don't have that much time. I know that you have an annual charity auction.
We do. Yeah.
Tell me about that.
Okay. We started that about 3 years ago. Again, we were trying to get some notoriety for the organization. Yeah. But it's going to be September 9th this year in the Ambassador Room at the Ramada.
Okay.
We're very fortunate this year. We're going to team up with the Mulligans. So Edwin Watts and his group are going to come out and play. And of course, they've got a following as well. But we hope to bring people out there. There'll be live auction, silent auction, heavy hors d'oeuvres, there'll be dancing, there'll be cash bar. It'll be a great event. And again, this will be our third year in doing that. And
that's your big fundraiser.
That's kind of our big fundraiser for the year.
But I would imagine if somebody wants to contribute money to your organization, how would they do that? Just go.
So you can come to Bobolink.
Okay.
You can go to our website, freshstartforchildrenandfamilies.org. There's a place that you can actually donate. And that's a great question. A lot of people think it's just money. Right. But another thing we started last year was kind of an organization called Repeat Street, which is a thrift store. And so
I like that, Repeat Street.
It is. It's fantastic. So people, can donate not just cash, but physical items that we could sell in the store that would generate operating capital for the organization.
What type of items do you take?
We take clothing, we take furniture, we take dishes. I mean, just a whole myriad of things.
And I would imagine you, do some of the people that come to your agency for help, do they take those clothes too? Like if you have business suits that maybe they need, or clothes for kids that
they do, and it also gives them a place where they can work. They can volunteer and start developing some good habits of, so it serves multiple purposes, providing capital, but also a great place for those people to serve.
All right, I have about 20 seconds left. Tell me how good you feel when you see somebody that has gone through the program and then they're out of the program, because that's the goal, right?
It's immeasurable. And again, we've got an 80% success rate of people that come through the program don't return to homelessness, which is what it's all about, right?
That's your goal?
I mean, if we just throw money at an issue, it doesn't really solve it long term.
Sounds like you've got a good solution working there. Thank you.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Sure. We'll be back.